In a few moments, you will have an experience which will seem completely real. It will be the result of your subconscious fears transformed to your conscious awareness. Warning, this tape must not be played by government personnel. It can be extremely harmful and result in severe trauma. You have 5 seconds to terminate this tape. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And everywhere I go, there's always something to remind me of another place and time.
It's just a cough.
Yeah, right. And the earth is flat.
Treat your cough seriously with Robitussin CF Max. Nothing lasts longer and treats more symptoms for your cough, cold, and flu. Robitussin, because it's never just a cough.
Flat Earth expert Mark Sargent thinks the moon landing was a hoax.
Technically, the moon itself is a hoax.
Right, but betting with Sportsbet's new iPhone app?
I could do this standing on my head.
Thanks, Gravity. Sportsbet's new iPhone app. It's foolproof.
Lexi, tell us something interesting.
Okay, the earth is flat, and a witch stole his pants.
Hold on, I know how we're different. Do you believe the earth is flat?
I know it's flat. I walk on it.
Holy sh**.
Do you think the earth is flat, Snoop? What do you
It's a flat world after all.
Smoke weed every day.
It's good to see you. I must go. I know I will go.
It's a coronavirus with Lyme disease.
What's going on?
Got the drums of war. Broadcasting straight to you from a large spaceship currently at war with mainstream science. Meanwhile, the Peanut Gallery is reviewing his thoughts on the passing of Mad Mike Hughes. The TV interviews, the lawsuits, the YouTube videos, the only thing that comes to mind is he was not a true flat earther, but he is now. God, it's so terrible. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Strange World, where the truth is often stranger than fiction. I'm your host, Mark Sargent, the creator of Flat Earth Clues, which propose that all of us are living inside a Truman Show enclosed structure thousands of miles wide. Check it out at enclosedworld.com or just Google Flat Earth Clues. If you can't find it, well, you're just not very good at the internet. For those of you listening to this on YouTube, you want to hear the show live as it happens, please go to Truth Frequency Radio for the latest schedule. Currently, this show is on Tuesday nights at 7 Pacific, 10 Eastern, and yes, Caroline, if it is not February 25th, 2020, then you are listening to a rerun. Quote of the day goes exactly like this. The whole problem with the world is that fools and fanatics are always so certain of themselves, and wiser people so full of doubts. Who said that? Bertrand Russell. He was a lot of things. I'm not going to look up his wiki thing. And thank you, Peanut Gallery, for sending me the wiki stuff. The Mark Sargent 2020 challenge is still in effect. This is my personal declaration of war against mainstream science. I, Mark Sargent, hereby put forth a challenge to any university, foreign or domestic, to loan me a self-contained spacesuit, put me in a vacuum chamber, and pull the switch. Find out what happens. I might die as well. For more information, please check out Flat Earth Clues Part 13, The Lost Nail. My co-host is, she's just lovely. But she's also sometimes sassy and always lethal. Yep. It's Karen B. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Mark.
How are you?
I'm so great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. A lot of stuff has happened between the last show and now. In fact, a lot of stuff has happened in the last 72 hours and now. And we're going to be getting to that in a second. But first, if you guys haven't checked out Nathan Oakley's channel, it's talking about the Black Swan argument. Check that out. Please do. Because I think it's a great argument. And that is, we can see horizons past the objects that we shouldn't be able to see entirely or at all in the first place. Which means all you people out there that used to send us boats, that were cut in half by the horizon. Like, oh, look, a 3-masted ship. It's only see half of it. See, the horizon's cutting it off. Yeah, you can't say that anymore because now we show you things like oil rigs with horizon behind that. And now you can't say, well, that's a mirage. That's distortion. That's refraction. That's Fata Morgana. But this boat here that's cut in half by the horizon, that's real. You see, you can't do both. In fact, it helps us more than it helps you because that horizon past those oil rigs is only possible in a flat world. Cannot happen in a globe. Just to let you know. If you haven't picked up the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app, which is burning up the charts in Apple utilities, please do, because some of our people have worked very, very hard at it, and I've got it on my phone now, and you know me, I hate apps, and I installed it just to show people. And now, honestly, I should have installed it such a long time ago. I'm going to beat myself over the head for that one for a while.
It's a great app.
Yeah, it's a great app. Absolutely great. I will get to the Laurel Austin announcement. Laurel Austin is the NBC News team is giving her a bunch of grief. She's good friends with a lot of people, including Zen Garcia. I don't know.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah. NBC News reporter Brandy Zadrozny did a hit piece on her because she's using alternative medicine for her adult vaccine-injured sons. And I agree. I mean, she's a wonderful, if not the case study. She has children that had vaccinations that went into the autistic spectrum, some more than others, and others that didn't. And me, I'm a big fan, even though I don't have kids. Look, the MMR is no joke. Look it up. I mean, you don't have to just watch Vaxxed. I mean, although that'll give you a lot of stuff. There's tons of neat things about vaccinations out there. If anyone wants to get a hold of Laurel, if you want to reach out to her. In fact, I think and I'm going to have to click on it myself. I don't have it here, but there's a GoFundMe to her. It's called Legal Assistance for Mom of Autistic Sons. You can look it up on GoFundMe.com. I'm known Laurel for a number of years, and even though this show doesn't cover a lot of autism and the whole vaccination issue, I told her I would absolutely help her with this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
she's a very nice woman, and she's going to be at the Sacred Word publishing conference that's going to be going on at the end of March there.
Nice. That's awesome.
I'll be there too, by the way.
That is really, really great. Let's get the obvious out of the way because the show on YouTube is going to be called The Rise and Fall of Mad Mike Hughes. Again, no play on words there. But I think it's a great title, which is true because it was a very, very quick rise and a even quicker fall. And so if you've been living under a rock for the last 72 hours, it was a spectacular crash. The only thing it didn't have was Hollywood Flames. And if you're wondering, it's like, respect to the dead, rest in peace. It's like, no. No, we're going to get into this. I have no love for the man, and I was restricted from saying most of it because there was an ongoing investigation by the San Bernardino Police Department. The man was suing me. He was suing me while he was talking to me at the Denver conference. I didn't even know that. I went to the Denver conference. We're chatting it up, blah, 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 next to his rocket. During that time, he had already filed papers against me. And then when I got back from that conference, sometime later, he had me served up here in Seattle, which we'll get into. But let's get back to this because I haven't really been using Mad Mike in the past tense yet. Okay, so if you have been living under a rock, Mad Mike has been creating more exposure for himself and Flat Earth and signed a television deal with part of the Discovery Network. In fact, I think it was space.com or the Science Channel or something like that. Anyway, the show was called Homemade Astronauts. And they were out there in the desert where he normally is shooting at Science Channel. Peanut Gallery says, thank you. And they were out there in the desert shooting, and the rocket, within a split second after it launches off the pad, the parachute deployment system fell off the rocket, just fell off. And we know this because the parachute deployed and floated away carrying nothing. And the rocket just sailed off into the distance, Wile E. Coyote style. And you could have added the most horrible sound effects, poof, into the dirt because it was a steam powered rocket, it didn't burst into flames. Needless to say, I mean, if you fall, the equivalent of falling off the Empire State Building in a steel drum, basically. The blunt force trauma alone was bad. So the recovery vehicles race off to it, and that was it. No camera footage was released. Anything, after that. We had people in the scene. We had some of our guys there filming it. Of course, not only Science Channel Science Channel was filming it. But once they realized, it's like, well, that's it for the show. They called TMZ, released the footage, and I don't know what they're going to do, as far as, are they going to try to release something? Are they going to try to do another documentary? Blah, blah, blah. So let's go into the Wayback Machine, all the way back to 2017, when Mad Mike approached us. When was the first time you heard about Mike Hughes?
A couple of years ago, right when it was through
IPS.
Yes, through IPS,
which is fine.
And he was raising money for that sticker to go on his rocket.
Yep.
And it sounded insane back then.
It was. So Mike approached us in 2017, summer of 2017, early summer. And I know because I didn't even have to look it up for the Rolling Stone girl called me yesterday for quotes about this. And I gave her the whole spiel because, I said, okay, you really need to know Mike was not exactly tight with the community at all. He came to us for money, plain and simple.
Yeah, that's it.
We you guys seem like you're really an ambitious group and you're really trendy and you might be able to help me. Can you raise money to help fund my rocket? It's like, okay, sure. IPS, this is when IPS was doing his thing. He was heavily involved with people and he was the one that helped set up the whole GoFundMe. I think he handled the money. And we raised over $8,000 and gave it to him and he started to finish his rocket. And then, but in return, we gave him a giant Flat Earth sticker to put on the side of the damn thing. And
yes. Research Flat Earth.
Research Flat Earth. And that's what really caught the media's attention. Because it's one thing if you're a daredevil building your own rocket. I mean, Evel Knievel did it in the 70s. Look up the Snake River jump going all the way back to then. Mm-hmm. But if you're a rocket daredevil and you're a flat earther, well, that's a whole nother thing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And they'd never seen this before. It was new news. And so the media just descended upon him. And he decided to milk this thing for everything that was worth. So he delayed the launch once, cliffhanger, and delayed the launch twice, citing. It's like, kicking the tires. It doesn't feel right, one of those things. And he started to get the whole cry wolf thing going to where finally, during the third time, he finally launched. And it went, it went up and the parachute deployed. and it was fine, and by that time, it didn't get that much attention. But here's the thing. At that point, Mike thought, and Mike was watching the headlines, obviously. At that point, Mike thought that he was the best thing since sliced bread. As a matter of fact, he was questioning why we weren't branding him as some sort of flat Earth messiah.
You don't think he didn't think that beforehand?
Well, no, because he hadn't done the launch yet. But once he had done the launch, then all of a sudden, he was just stunned. It's like, why isn't Flat Earth just embracing me, carrying me on their hands like you're surfing, crowd surfing. He really thought, I listened to him in podcasts, and he was just amazed that we weren't doing this for him. And so this was, back in the early 2018, before the conference in Denver. And then I had gotten word, I can't remember who told me, but I don't even know if it was a secret. I think he was talking about, because he was always doing things with IPS. And he was going to come out to the Denver conference and protest it because he wasn't invited.
That wasn't a secret.
The what?
That was not a secret.
No, it wasn't a secret. He was going to protest the conference.
Mm-hmm.
And we was going to literally tow the rocket out to the parking lot, and fully well why, because it would have been, media would have gone to him and said, "What are you doing?" And he would have been there with a bullhorn, saying. And so I remember telling Robbie Davidson this, and I'll be darned, man, clever man. Within, I think, less than 2 hours, he had called up Mike and basically convinced him. It's like, why don't you just bring the rocket inside? Forget this whole protest thing, Robbie very cleverly. he's like, well, he wants media attention. Great. He'll just add to the fun. And so that's what happened in Denver. He shows up with his rocket, and they brought it inside into the big hall and put it off there. And he stood next to his rocket and talked to people. And that's what he did. However, he also because of that, he also got a gig on Tosh.0, the comedian Daniel Tosh.
Yeah.
And he goes out there and does that whole thing, and of course, alienated.
It was a mess.
It wasn't a dumpster fire because the editing was done on the Daniel Tosh side, but the fact that half of the interview was Mike telling people about how he would pick up girls at the bar. And you can tell his motivation has always been, and I will reiterate this later, has always been girls, money, and fame. And then somewhere to round out the top 5, maybe Flat Earth's in there, but it's not his top priority. So at that point, he's also, there's also the documentary that was done on him. There was a separate documentary team that's been following us, but the one that did his, it was released on Netflix called Rocket Man. And I can't believe they're still using the name because, the Elton John biography is also called Rocket Man. It was released 3 months earlier. But the reason why Rocket Man got on Netflix is because of Behind the Curve. Behind the Curve, which was about all flat earthers in the Raleigh conference. Behind the Curve didn't use him. They initially wanted to put him in Behind the Curve, but you can guess why they didn't. It's because what happens if he crashes? What happens if he dies? Do we cut that part out of the movie? Does that completely change the tone of the movie? Do we end the movie with a rest in peace? And then he died in 2020, and so they said, yeah, what, we're not going to take any chances. So they didn't. And so Behind the Curve was released, but Behind the Curve paved the way for Rocket Man to get in. So he got Rocket Man. And then on top of that, then the Science Channel gets a hold of him, and he signs away his TV rights. And I honestly did not think they were going to get this thing going. And who knows? I mean, they just started shooting the damn thing. And that's when he got to do, that's why he was out there. He was repeating the stuff he'd already done in Rocket Man and then the other news stories for Science.com. Okay. The thing that I haven't really told you guys yet, because I was told really not to talk about it. But now I can, and if anyone wants the documents, I'm more than happy to send them to you because I'm pretty sure the case is dead. Again, no play on words.
So you got official documents from the legal people?
Oh, I always had them.
I mean that the case is dead. That it's no longer.
Oh no. Well, no, the case is dead because there was nobody. He didn't have a wife or any kids that were tied to the damn thing. Case is dead. It was only him. He's the only one listed. But I will read you what we had done. So remember, I said during the Denver conference he had already filed papers against me. He was suing me. It's like, why would he be suing me? Because he had found what he thought was a legal loophole on rights, specifically personal rights in California. Do you remember the conversation I had with you last a couple of years ago when I said this? I can't remember if I did it on the show. When the San Bernardino Police Department contacted me and in an email, and I joked around with them, and I said, you guys, because it was a terribly written letter. I said, look, I've gotten better letters from Nigerian princes. You know, there's got nothing. And they said, no, we're absolutely real. We just need your information, blah, blah, blah. Going, yeah, sure you do. I go, here, I go, tell you what, I just want to get it off my chest. You know, I admit to everything, you know, the gun running, the human trafficking, the meth labs, blah, blah, blah. I just listed off all this stuff. And then I said at the end, and by the way, you are never going to find all the bodies, right? And I fired off to him. And then Patricia calls me a couple days later, and she goes, yeah, I gave these emails from the San Bernardino Police Department. I go, oh, tell them to go to hell. And and she goes, yeah. She goes, you guys go to hell. You're just a bunch of scammers. And they said, we're not scammers. She's like, oh, yeah, fine. She was pretty clever. She goes, if you're real, send a couple police officers to my door to vouch for you. Be damned, like an hour later, Houston Police Department shows up at her door saying, yeah, we get this all the time. It's not a scam. They're actually real. It's a real email. It's like, really? So anyway, the whole point is that he was doing this not just to me, but to other people. So I will show you real quick. So the claimant, and this was filed, initially it was filed May 3rd, 2019. So this is before even Dallas, right? Claim Michael J. Hughes, a man, aggrieved, wrong claims by this court of record, Mark K. Sargent. A man is using my property, Mark K. Sargent, the name, right? For any trust, bank account, passport, real estate, stocks, pension, licenses, utilizing my private property, secure accounts or property. Mark K. Sargent is private property of a man, Michael J. Hughes. This claim is validated by a recording via the UCC filing. Blah, blah, blah. Notarized and sent to me.
Insanity.
Okay, which, if you guys are wondering what I just read, he was trying to use my name as a corporation, saying that it was completely random, that he had come up with a corporation name called Mark K. Sargent, and that any money that I, Mark K. Sargent, made was hereby forfeited by the corporation Mark K. Sargent, which was owned by Michael Hughes. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life. I mean, everything I would ever own now and in the future, just based on my name. He thought he found some sort of legal loophole, and he was trying to exploit this to the point where he even sent. And I'll read that one real quick. He even sent me a personal letter on top of the summons. It was called. Let's see here. It was sent by him out in Desert View, Apple Valley, California. It was very recent. In fact, he sent it January 3rd this year. I, Michael J. Hughes, has filed, nice writing there, Michael, for a default judgment that will be heard on January 3rd, 2020, in Department S30. All the original orders from the court date November 4th, 2019, that you were served a summons to appear will be spoken in open court according to Article 6, Section 1. Blah, blah, blah. He signs this thing. Doesn't even notarize it. I don't know why his thumbprint is on there in ink. I don't know if it's a smudge or whatever.
That's so weird.
I know. And he sent it off to me, basically reminding me that I have a court date with him, or I had a court date with him last month. Yeah. So let's put it this way. When when Rolling Stone called up and said, because I think they were looking, it's like, oh, you have good things to say about him. I go, no, I don't have any good thing. He wasn't close with the community. He distanced himself almost immediately. I don't know, other than IPS, I don't know who he was close with in the community at all. He was never in any hangouts, never invited to do any shows, wasn't with anyone. He was only at the conference in Denver because we didn't want him protesting in the parking lot, and he got greedy, plain and simple. Nothing more to it than that. He was, he wanted to be famous. Hey, you know what? Now he's famous. There was like at least 5 times more headlines after he crashed than when he actually launched and didn't crash, and that's the whole part of being a daredevil. So don't anyone come to me and say, oh, you shouldn't be, being or speak ill, or it's too soon. It's like, no, he was a daredevil. The only reason you watch daredevils, whether they're shot out of a cannon or jumping a motorcycle or jumping an RV across something, is because there's a chance they may not make it. That's the whole point of a daredevil. And in this case, he did it more spectacularly than just about anyone I've ever seen, which was a rocket took off, the parachute didn't deploy, and that was it. He goes off into history.
That's for sure.
So there you go.
Swan dived.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was, I know, and honestly, I think all daredevils want to, who knows, but I think it's true. I think all daredevils truly want to go out in a blaze of glory. His idol was obviously Evel Knievel because he replicated the Snake River rocket to the best of his ability, which was a poor design anyway. You never put the parachute system right next to the thrusters just for this reason. I mean, he's basically playing Russian roulette with a rocket. Plain and simple. I mean, that's you saw it. It was as clear as day. I mean, the thrust just kicked off the parachute, just knocked it right off. I was like, oh, well, no brakes. That's it. There's no brakes in the rocket. That's it. You're done. I mean, the people that were watching the launch knew full well, anyone that was in the logistics team. And I also mentioned to them the engineering side of things. I know I'm rambling a little bit, but I'm stretching it out to the end of the segment. Then we'll take calls. Which is, look, no offense to science or science.com or the Science Channel, but if you're going to do a show, you really should look at what he's doing before you put your name to this, because you're putting a production together, and of course they shouldn't be blamed because it's the same rocket that he launched before they were involved. But my God, I mean, do something, help him out. It's like, hey, it's not exactly the safest thing in the world. And so there you go.
Well, he's a big boy. He should have known that.
Yeah, he should have. And honestly, he probably got too comfortable. I mean, because this was his 4th launch officially, I think. So, nah. Anyway, there you go. So Mad Mike Hughes, dead at 64. In fact, I don't even know if there was a close-up of the rocket. We didn't see it zoomed in. We don't even know if there was a flat Earth sticker on the side of it. I should say this before the break. Was he trying to prove flat Earth in that rocket? No, he was not. Was he creating flat Earth awareness with that rocket? Yes, he was. I mean, come on. And everybody knows if you go up 2,000 feet tops, you're not proving anything. You're not going to say, I mean, the mountains next to him were higher than that. 2,000 feet is not going to do anything. But at the same time, he generated a huge amount of media. Huge. And the quote they used in Rolling Stone, I'm going to say it even now because I used it when he was alive, and I'm going to use it after his passing, which is, I said it 2 years ago, and I said it in the book. It was the best $8,000 we ever spent as far as media. It was. And it seems funnier now because like, well, but I'm not going to change it. It's like, what? I said it when he was alive. What, I can't say it now that he's dead? It's still the best 8,000 we've ever spent. It was a one-time deal, and he generated a huge amount of headlines, and he was the one that took the risks. So there you go. Phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. We'll talk about wherever you want. We can talk about Mad Mike Hughes. We can talk the coronavirus. We'll talk about all sorts of stuff. So don't go anywhere.
hate, no hype, no fear. We are TFR. Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World Part 2 of 4. It's you, me, and Karen B. What? That's right. Word. Whoop. It's a big bird. All right. Peanut Gallery wanted me to point out, because he's been sending me lots of stuff. Yes, he's absolutely right. I got a close-up of that rocket before the launch, and wow, I mean, it's amazing that we've got a photo of that thing, the debris, afterwards. But there wasn't any flat Earth sticker on the side of that rocket. It was a little more streamlined, the chassis was. It had a bunch of different advertisements on it, but it didn't look like there was any flat Earth stuff on the side of it. In fact, there wasn't any Science Channel stuff either that I could see. It was purple this time, too. Purple and white.
It's some dating website. It says dating isn't rocket science, and it has an eggplant and a peach.
Nice. Nice. That's awesome. Yeah. Again, there'll be some repercussions from this. I was glad that Rolling Stone printed their article, which was something to the effect of, hang on, and I don't have it in front of me. Peanut, put it up in front of me. I can't remember the title, but it's like flat earthers aren't deterred. It was really quite positive. Where, because I tried to give it the best spin I could. I was like, look, it's not going to stop me doing what I'm doing, taking the risks that I was going to take. And remember that I sort of regret it now. I volunteered to be the backup pilot for that thing because he wouldn't launch back in 2018. He kept delaying it. So most people will say, "Oh, aren't you glad you didn't go on that?" It's like, well, you never know. Although I think I probably would have looked at it more closely. Yeah, Flat Earth community undeterred by death of Mad Mike Hughes by RollingStone.com. And we'll see if they actually put it in the physical magazine. Not that it makes much difference, but Rolling Stone does get mirrored by a lot of people. So we will see. I'm actually kind of curious. Who was the last person? Here's a little trivia for anyone out there. Anyone wants to call in. Who was the last person to talk to Mike from our community? I'd love to hear it. If it was IPS, again, it's not going to surprise anybody. But I'd love to see who actually the last person was. Because, most people in the communities, we're always talking to somebody in the community. It's a huge, massive series of spider webs in Flat Earth. And he was not part of any of them.
I was going to say, I don't know anybody that said that they talked to him regularly.
No.
I talked to a fair amount of people.
That's because he was doing his own thing. His goals were different. Again, he wanted to be famous first. He wanted the girls, the money, and some people. Let's address one more thing before we get to the calls, and because I know I'm seeing calls are stacking up here: Quebec and Wisconsin and Michigan and Louisiana and West Virginia.
Mountain Mama.
Which is okay. Do I think it was faked? I had my suspicions in the beginning because I didn't see the science stream. Those guys out there, I didn't know that our team was quite far away from the other guys. But then I started, doing it deliberately. Some people say, could have been suicide. It's like, well, that's not really. If he was going to go out, I would have gone out after at least the television show run. Remember, he was riding a wave at this point.
Yeah,
he'd already been on Daniel Tosh. He had his own documentary. He already had his own television show. Hell, I don't even have my own television show.
Well, clearly that was always something that was a possibility. So
yes. And I remember making fun of him that he had already signed his television rights away for like 6 years. I was like, really? I go for a show that's not even proven yet? That's pretty. And granted, the show hadn't aired or anything. They were just started production. But do I think it's real? Yes. And it's like, here's why. Also, if you want to, again, if you faked your own death on something like this, the show would instantly lose credibility because no one would trust anything you did on it anymore. Because you would faked your death in pre-production doesn't make sense. So, I mean, I suppose he could have, but it doesn't benefit him in the slightest. It would not enhance ratings or even interest in the show, because then people would be like, well, if that wasn't real, how can anything be real? You know, you could die 3 or 4 more times. It's like, you know, and in fact, that's probably the most perfect example of cry wolf ever, because you fake your death at that point, no one would ever believe you if you actually did die.
That's a good point.
People are like, what? Whatever. I saw him die.
I thought it was a possibility there for.
Oh, I did. Yep.
I think it was definitely a possibility, as shady as he was, and as who knows.
I did too, but there was a couple other things, and then we'll end this part, which is one, there was not a remote control rocket. It was very rudimentary technology. I mean, there wasn't any electronics on this thing at all, except for maybe the microphone, and I think he was just holding on to that. It was a steam-powered rocket, you know, with a lever. You know, you pull that thing and it goes off. You know, it is very old technology, and it goes all the way back to the 70s. So remote launching that rocket, no. Plus, the way it failed was the way everybody thought it would fail, which is everyone was nervous about the parachutes. Because, you know, we saw cameras of that parachute coming down. It's like, what, you buy it from a secondhand store? That parachute's terrible. You know, it looked really ratty. And, you know, somebody probably installed another parachute system. And again, I don't know. We'll find out that down the road. Not that anyone's going to follow up with a lawsuit on this necessarily. But the chute fell off, and that was it. That's how simple this technology was. There was no ejector seat. There was no way of bailing out. He was sealed into this thing. So when the parachute failed, that was it. You're basically on a truck with no brakes, going into a brick wall. So if you want some silver lining here, it was quick. And but except for the 5 seconds of realization as he was going down that the chute was not deploying.
Right.
One of those things. And I mean, there's other things. And by the way, also look for, and I hate to mention it because it's kind of gross, but some also thing to look for, because you know someone's going to leak it every time there's a sex tape out that's leaked. And that is, remember, in the documentary, I don't know if you watched Rocket Man, there's also interior cameras. So, and there's microphone, you know, it's all, you know, sound feed. Now, unless the camera was destroyed, you know, he could have been live streaming from the inside of that thing. So, yeah, I don't know if that's going to come out. I hope it doesn't, because it'd be awful. It'd be terrifying. Okay.
I actually saw a video like that they put out from one of the Blue Angels that crashed.
Really?
Because now they have cameras.
And they showed the Blue Angel crash from the inside?
I can't remember. Something like that.
I don't want
to say for sure. It's been a while. I have to watch it again. But I know that now they have cameras like all over those things.
You're not supposed to, because it's in bad taste. But at the same time, you know, I mean, I don't think it'll ever be aired on television, but it would be quite a ratings thing. You know, again, I don't want to be morbid here, but, you know, as much as sex sells, death sells. I mean, there's a reason why.
People do have a morbid curiosity. I, for one, don't care. You know what, though?
What?
I have that attitude because I watched a video of somebody dying, and it was so disturbing to me. I was like, okay, I shouldn't have done that, and I never want to watch a video like that ever again. And so now I try to avoid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think of it. Think of it this way. I mean, again, as much as I don't want to watch it either, and I probably won't. Let's go back to 1999 when the Blair Witch Project came out, and I know that's going back a ways, 20 years. But the Blair Witch Project, if you guys don't remember, kids, Blair Witch Project, which was it was the first of what was now known as found footage films, was touting, you know, that they let the rumor get out there that somebody actually died in the movie. You know, and they basically found the film, you know, the camera of the people that were killed. And that when, I mean, I stood in line in a packed theater, you know, and people were lined up around the corner. You know, it's like, oh, yeah, here's somebody dies in this. Not knowing that it's absolutely illegal to show somebody dying on film. They're known as snuff films. So, you know, you're not supposed to you're not supposed to just openly show it on television or in the theaters. Now, if it doesn't get leaked out, yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they definitely get leaked out.
Yeah,
They're all over the place.
So will it happen with this? I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it depends what the Science Channel wants to do with it. I mean, they're going to catch enough criticism as it is, because it's like, why was the Science Channel doing this in the first place? Because they were going to try to make fun at people that supposedly deny science. That was the whole premise of this, homemade astronauts, which is sort of a takeoff on redneck rocket scientists. Sound familiar? Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll have to see.
Absolutely.
All right, so there you go. If anyone wants to call and comment, let's go right to the phones, shall we? Let's pick up 608. 608, it's you and me and Karen B. What do we say, Caesar? Thumbs up or thumbs down on the crash?
I haven't been following the crash too much. I didn't really consider Mad Mike to be much of a real flat earther.
Yeah.
But I just called because last week you said I never call in, and so I thought I'd prove you wrong here tonight. How is my MMO brother from another mother?
Well, I haven't been playing that much. I've been kind of busy as of late. But
yes, playing that girlfriend game I hear so much about.
Well, the girlfriend game, and then doing the interview over in London. I almost, I'm not really supposed to talk about it, but I almost went back to London. There was an advertising. There was like a last minute commercial thing that fell through because they couldn't get a camera team in place on Saturday. I'm supposed to be there like right now, but they just couldn't do it. But yeah, you want to plug your channel since I got you?
This is Darren Wagner. I did a video that recently that Mark so graciously mirrored on his own channel, a plea for help from NDT or to NDT to help us flat earthers rejoin the rest of humanity. So that's the most recent flat earth related thing I did. Today I actually I was on a stream on YouTube on a channel called Rambling Canuck, where the host is Canadian, and so he knew I was a flat earther. So amidst all the things we talked about submarines and Star Trek and all that stuff and all the science behind that, then all of a sudden he says, so I understand you're also a flat earther, and then I started going into how space isn't real. We never landed on the moon, and people in the chat were like, the same guy, like it was inconceivable to them that a Star Trek fan could also be a flat earther.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I'm a fan of many of the old. I'm just going to call them the old franchises because all the new versions are driving me freaking insane. But I get it because if you're a Star Trek fan, then you're heavy science. But the truth is, come on, if you're a Star Trek fan, there's lots of things that in Star Trek don't make sense from a science and physics standpoint. We all know that. Go ahead.
In science fiction in general now, so many things are changing. And I did another video here not too long ago on another channel called the Anti-Trekker channel, where I mentioned that space. They used to tell us space was cold, and they fortified that statement by saying that that's what the Apollo astronauts all said when they came back from being in space. Was space, 0 degrees Kelvin out there, which is colder than you can possibly imagine here on Earth. And now all of a sudden you've got people saying, who are younger, obviously, millennials and younger, who are saying, no, space is actually warm. Hollywood got it wrong. And I'm like, Hollywood didn't come up with that. The Apollo program did. And I'll admit, when they say that space is supposed to feel warm, they have some very plausible concepts about that. Because what they talk about is how radiation, the heat radiating from your body, is the least efficient way of transferring heat out of your body.
Right.
And since you're supposed to be in a vacuum, nothing physical is touching you, so you would feel quite warm for the experience as you die, and you wouldn't feel cold at all. And I admit that's totally plausible, but NASA has said they've sent people up there, and they came back saying it's colder than an MF up there. So you're planting the seeds of the seeds of knowledge in them, saying, okay, do you trust what you've figured out on your own, what a vacuum must be like to be inside, or are you going to trust what has been historically told to us?
Right.
And so, a lot of Star Trek fans, they scratch their heads and they're like, no, I never thought of that. And, you kind of lead them down that path a little bit, even though they don't like openly discussing it, because, to them, mentioning flat Earth, for example, in a Star Trek message board is kind of like bringing whiskey to a playground.
Yeah, I mean, sorry. Anyone gives me any grief that's in Star Trek, I'll be like, so explain to me how the teleporter is just a teleporter and not a matter replicator. How is that the case? Because if the teleporter did exactly, and totally, Karen's going, oh God, no, we're going to geek out. Give me 30 seconds. Which is, you know my argument though. If the teleporter does exactly what it's supposed to by design, that means you can clone anything. People.
Exactly.
You just put it you just hit save pattern, and that's it. You're like, oh, he died in the away mission? No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Whatever.
And it's like within Star Trek, they flip-flop between the two concepts of the transporter all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, and then I draw the correlation, just like, with space, we think that it's either hot or cold up there. Or warm or cold. We don't know which one it is because it's not real.
Right.
The narrative changes to fit the need of the most recent story.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
how we, Karen. That's how we tie in all this to flat Earth. By the way.
Yeah. Well, to quote Mark,
it was worth it, Karen.
To quote Mark Twain, never let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Right.
And that's what happens all the time. It's like, okay, again, and we've seen this many, many, many times. In fact, we'll even tie it to the coronavirus here in a second. By the way, I already forgot, and I know I'm 15 minutes late. Yeah, that was Joe Jackson stepping out from his album Night and Day. Nobody reminded me, but I did. Which was we change the narrative because we don't teach people about physics or engineering or chemistry or anything else. And so because they don't know this, you can just bend the story any which way, and most people are like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Because they're not, it's not ingrained in them to say, no, that's not how it works. So again, I mean, I even have trouble with the moon photos sometimes. Like simple stuff, like say, the shadows aren't supposed to point in different directions. People are like, they're not? I'm going, oh God. Unless you're a photographer.
Yeah, my dad pointed out an article that he found where now apparently they're saying that both the moon and our orbit, that's all still within Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah. Technically, if they're saying how many molecule parts per million,
Yeah, it's like just hydrogen or something.
They're trying to change the public's perception is what they're trying to do.
Yeah, so, and not very well, I might add.
Those of us who are old enough to remember details that were presented to us when we were much younger are able to say, hey, no, it doesn't work.
Yeah, what's that? A power, you say?
Almost the Mandela effect, but not quite.
Yep, I agree. Anything else? Because unfortunately, we've got calls stacking up. What else you got? Anything?
No problem. No, that's okay. I'll bow out and let somebody else take a go.
All right, man. Hey, it was nice talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
Nice talking to you. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay. See you, man.
Have a good night.
Okay, bye.
All right. Let's jump over to 504. 504, you're on with Strange World. Dazzle us.
Hey, this is Dennis from Oregon. I got a couple quick questions about conferences, if I'm not breaking your momentum.
No, fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, the three, mainly you might be able to answer this first one. The one I'm personally most interested in, set for October later this year down in Santiago, Chile. Is that still up and going? I know you're slated, or at least you were, as being a speaker at that conference. Do you have any updates or what's going on with that?
That is an excellent question, and I'm glad you reminded me, because with all the other things that were going on, I absolutely forgot about the Chile conference. I totally forgot. I know that there's a big one going down in Italy next month. In fact, less than a month from now. But the Chile one, I have not. You're absolutely right. I am slated to be at that one, but I have not heard anything. But again, it's only February, so they've got time. But no, I have not. I've not heard. Why, you're thinking of going to that one?
Actually, I am. If I could, but I need information about it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, as soon as I have anything, I will, of course. If especially if I'm speaking, I will let people know. And so don't worry, we got time. But as far as I know, it is still going to happen.
Okay. The other two, I don't know. Maybe Miss Karen might have knowledge of were Vegas. And also, will Flattoberfest be occurring again later this year?
Karen? Flattoberfest.
Flattoberfest, I'm not sure. The venue that I used last year, the Firmament, is no longer there.
It burned down?
No, it didn't burn down, but, he had to close it or...
Oh, really?
Anyway, financial problems.
Oh.
Yeah, there's no more Firmament.
Oh, that's sad.
Has
it changed ownership? Is it just a building? Do we know anything about it?
It's just a building, yeah. I mean, well, I don't know whose hands it's in right now. I have no idea about any of that, but...
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we don't know anything about the Firmament yet. As far as Vegas goes, it's green lights from everything I've seen. The person in charge is checking out the venues. I think either this week or next week he's going out to it and checking it out. And I am helping try to potentially set up a sponsor for it. Potentially, I'm not going to get people's hopes up, but that might actually happen. A group out of the UK contacted me and said that they were going to look for us. And they had some pretty interesting players involved. But again, I'm not going to say who. But if it happens, it's going to get really weird.
Right. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. So anyways, for the three of us, so Chile, probably. South Carolina, not really sure. And Vegas, yeah, it's going to happen. But, no dates have been confirmed on any of those three yet.
Okay, that was the main thing I had. I just want to say all this stuff about Mike Hughes. I didn't want to say thumbs up on anybody dying.
Oh no! I was messing. You don't have to approve or disapprove his fiery end.
About what you were saying, I do give a thumbs up because I like the truth, and that needs to be said. It's good to clear the air and set the record straight. It's a lot more interesting than this rubbish that the mainstream media saying. I'm good to hear your perspective.
Well, thank you. And by the way, I'm not a huge believer in the saying that it's too soon. We always hear that. So it's too soon to make jokes. It's too soon to this. And, it's like, the Kobe's memorial was just recent, and they were charging like $10,000 a head for the VIP seating. And yes, he was one of the top basketball players in the world, no question. But he died with two numbers. And that's all I'm really going to say about that. It's like, you got to look into it. Why did he have two numbers? Why? Nobody in Los Angeles wants to talk about it. He's a national treasure, he's a Los Angeles treasure. But no one wants to talk about it. It's like, look, I was in Colorado when it happened. So look it up. Well, why did Kobe have two numbers? That's all you have to do. Just look it up.
I remember all that mess.
Yeah. I mean, he almost didn't climb out of it. That was just it. I mean, it was look, Tiger Woods had some bad moments. So did Kobe.
Oh, no, he was begging and crying.
Yeah. I don't even get into it. Anyway, anything else before I let you go?
Yeah, I got calls. Thanks a lot. Have a good one.
Where'd he go? Is he still there?
He said, have a good one, I think.
Okay, man. Hey. Okay, hey, have a good one. We'll talk soon.
At least I think that's what he said. I hope that's what he said.
He was breaking up at the end. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it was hard to understand. I'm sorry, sir.
It was... That's all right. It happens. I mean, cell phones aren't, which is why I'm using a landline. Kids, don't forget, old school phone technology still works. I don't want to pick up a call before we got 90 seconds to the break. So phone number to call in is 213-233-3998. That's 213-233-3998. Operators are standing by, and by that I mean me. So be nice because no matter where you go, there you are. We will, when we come back from the break, we're going to pick up 304-619-418-803, and then anyone else after that, please. And I do want to talk with you, Karen, sometime pretty soon here about the, I keep wanting to say contravirus. I don't know what it is. I'm older, and I keep thinking the freaking Contra rebels and all this. Every time I hear coronavirus, it's like, oh, it's killing me. But yeah, I want to talk a little bit about the coronavirus because, you know, now the CDC is coming out and saying that, oh yeah, there's gonna be a massive breakout in the United States. It's like, that's not how viruses work. It's like, it would have happened by now. You know, I've flown on planes, and they've recently, very recently, to where, like, I was leaving England, and that was a question they asked me. Have you been to China in the last 2 weeks? It's like, yeah, that's not how a lockdown works. It's like, if you really thought that China was the origin country, you'd lock down the planes everywhere. And once you, as you know, I mean, we've all seen the movies. I don't get into it too much because we're running out of time here before the segment. If you've seen the movies, once it gets to the first airport, that's it. Watch Contagion. Watch 12 Monkeys. Watch The Stand. Watch every virus movie that we've ever seen, we've ever done. Andromeda Strain. Everyone we've ever done always says viruses travel so amazingly fast. And once it gets into an airplane, it's over. That's it. It's a sealed container. Everybody gets it. And then when they land, the whole airport gets it. And all the other planes get it. And it's it. It's over. Whatever. All right. We'll be back in 3.
Truth Frequency Radio is your number one.
This is the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
We are TFR.
Truth Frequency Radio.
Welcome back to Strange World Part 3 of 4. It's the top of the hour. It's you, me, and Karen B. Wicca. It's me scratching on a record I don't have because I got rid of my vinyl a long time ago. Remember vinyl, Karen?
I do.
Yeah, vinyl was great. It's a cool thing. Although pretty fragile. You know, and plus the big killer vinyl was dust. Boy, playing a record and all of a sudden you get a little dust bunny on that thing.
Oh, yeah.
The record skipped and you were in the mood, you know.
A great sound, but not a very practical medium to play music.
No, it wasn't. 8 tracks. That was something. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. There's calls coming in. There's something I wanted to mention also. You know, top of the hour. Let's do this again. Really, if you're into the whole vaccination thing and the MMR vaccine, please go to GoFundMe.com and look up legal assistance for mom of an autistic son or sons. That's Laurel Austin, wonderful Flat Earth supporter, big supporter of Zen Garcia and crew. I've been with her at multiple conferences. She's a wonderful woman, and she has several children, some that were vaccinated, some that weren't. Hey, guess which ones turned out fine? So you can imagine. And she's a living example of how, and she's treating her autistic spectrum children, and it's looking very optimistic. But mainstream doesn't want to go along with what she's saying for various reasons. Let's see. What else? I was going to say something. It was something that I thought of, and I can't remember what it was. I'll tell you. Peanut Gallery. Let me read real quick. Did he have something for me? Nope. Oh, remake of Planet of the Apes. Yeah, that was a virus movie. Coronavirus. Yeah, Corona. Let's get into that real quick before I pick up another calls, and that is, Karen, do you have an opinion on the coronavirus?
Yes, it seems like another big
scare tactic.
Mass media scare tactic. Yeah.
I thought so too initially. There was just another fear beat. The problem is they're tying it to the stock market right now, which is, I mean, I literally watched it today.
I saw that today.
Yeah.
I did see that today. Yeah.
Yeah, they're basically saying as long as the coronavirus is out there, the stock market's going to go down, which, as you can imagine, would freak out a lot of people. I watched Fox News. I mean, literally the market was down like 830 points at the time with like 30 minutes to the bell. And they literally had above the numbers, it said coronavirus sell-off. That's like, really? Not only you're going to literally say this huge dip in the market, you're going to attribute to a single thing, and you're just going to keep doing that. And so, yeah, I mean, could the coronavirus be part of some longer term? It just feels different. It feels weird. And the fact they're telegraphing everything in such slow motion. I mean, coronavirus has now been out like a month. I'm sorry, if this was the movies, we'd all be dead. Like now. That's not how virus, even the Spanish flu, back when things moved a lot slower and we didn't even have airplanes when the Spanish flu came out. Even that didn't take this long. You know, it spread through the cities like wildfire. And you always knew something. And sorry, one more thing I got to point out here. You know, when I watch this, and I challenge anybody, please send me links if you get a chance. When I look through the news stories, you know, I absorb all media, or as much as I can anyway. And I keep seeing stories on coronavirus. And you keep expecting to see stuff like you see with plane crashes and train crashes and stuff like that, where faces of the victims, faces of this flight, faces of this, right? You always see the people, right? You always see the people. Mm-hmm. You know, a nice cross section of, you know, white and black and men and women and, you know, people with glasses and people with not glasses, you know, happy photos. And you don't see any of that. I only see photos of Asian people in masks, in groups, and they're not dead. They're just walking around. That's all you see. You see numbers. That's what we see here. The coronavirus seems to be right now just numbers. It is countries and cases within those countries. Not to quote Blazing Saddles, even though it's a very quotable thing, but where are all the white people at? Where are they? If you know full well, if it hits a school, if the coronavirus hits a school and any kid comes down, if a single kid dies in a school in the United States, it's straight out of contagion. Every mother would pull their child, not just in that county, but probably that state. No one would go to school in that state, and probably some neighboring states as well. Maybe a 3 or 4, 5 state radius. If that happened, it would. Mothers would do that. And
hey, I'm a mom. I would be like, yeah, y'all can stay home for a while.
Absolutely. And we haven't seen any of that. We haven't seen. It's like, oh, you say there are victims here. Who? Where? Where are these victims? And why aren't there a lot more of them? I'm sorry. The numbers they're releasing are so meager, so feebly low.
Yeah.
That they just defies. It's like, look, we're losing more people in car crashes on a given week than we are from this thing. So where is it? What exactly is it doing? Sorry, this frustrates me. I know they're doing it because the public is slow on the uptake. It's kind of like the saying I've heard recently, which is dumb movies for dumb people. But that's what it kind of is. It's like they have to slow down the news so much that the general public understands it. It's like, hey, there's something out there. It's a virus. Hope it doesn't hit America. Like, what? Seriously, that's what they're thinking. It's like, what are you talking about? If you're reading this on the web, it's already hit. It's everywhere. You should, those final newspapers. Again, watch Contagion. Watch 12 Monkeys. Read The Stand. That's how it works. I mean, The Stand, Stephen King's brilliant book from the early 80s, where once it got out of the military base, once it hit that first airport, it was over. You can't catch it. at that point. It's too fast. By the time you land, you've infected that plane and the entire airport. Once you've infected one airport, that's it. I mean, you've seen the spread patterns for airports. Everybody goes everywhere. I mean, especially if it's like once that first international airport, I don't care where it is. Ugh, sorry, it's so frustrating. I know I'm getting jacked up, but it's just
you are. You're all feisty tonight.
I am. There's a lot of things happening. Market crash, coronavirus, flat earthers dying in rocket crashes. All right. I'm fine. Let's pick up a phone call. Maybe a phone call will calm me down. Ready? Yeah, let's pick up 304. 304, say something soothing and relaxing. I know you're probably not. You're probably going to say, have you heard what they said? We're all doomed. Run for your lives. What do you got?
I can't believe you didn't pick me up like 90 seconds in the last break wasn't enough. I mean, there's something as a woman, 45 seconds is all, but never mind. 90 seconds ain't enough. Never mind. All right.
Are you complaining? What do you got?
Okay. Here's the thing. The numbers, you can't believe the numbers. You don't think that they might be fudging the numbers a little bit with the coronavirus. I believe the president of our country says...
Go ahead.
I think they're fudging everything with the coronavirus.
The president says... Right. Trump says nothing to worry about, nothing to see here. People in charge, they tell you not to panic. That's when you start to think twice.
Yeah. That's the line from 2012 with which was produced in 2009 with John Cusack, and it goes, when the people in authority say don't panic, that's when you run. And but at the same time, Trump also asked for $2 billion for the CDC, and it's like, okay, if you're asking for $2 billion, a little chunk of change. And the CDC comes out and says, oh, it's only a matter of time that when it's going to quote unquote hit the U.S., when it's going to break out in the U.S. And it's like, again, the general public doesn't understand. It's like, that's not how viruses work. It just doesn't. They follow the people. And once the virus hits a major city, that's it. It goes everywhere. And once it hits a major airport, it goes everywhere. And it goes very, very, very quickly. I mean, air travel has changed. It's different from the days, where we had, the plague. It's different. Things don't move slowly. They move at 600 miles an hour. And you can't, and since you don't know, when this thing, if you can't get ahead of it, and you can't because the incubation period of any virus takes a little while, even the flu takes a while, you've got too many people. And we've been talking about this for years and years and years. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. No, think of it like the stomach virus. I mean, we've all had the stomach virus, right? You're going out both ends. It may hit a county over, but eventually it's going to hit you. You know it's coming. Yeah. And it sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh,
I mean, coronavirus is not sarin. It's not sarin gas from the movie The Rock with Nick Cage and who was it?
Sean Connery.
What was his name?
Sean Connery.
That's it. So
and
it's not
Harris
super deadly to everybody.
Yeah. It's also, look, remember the Spanish flu did 2 trips around. It hit all the countries first, then mutated, and then came back through again. And it's like in this case, and there was a lot less people back then. Did we even have 2 billion back then in 1918? Somebody's look up the population chart. But if it hit now, I'm sorry, there's just too many people for it to not go everywhere, and there's so much international travel. There's so many people flying, just freaking everywhere. That so quarantine. I saw the travel alerts because I was looking up international travel stuff, and all these countries saying, "Oh yeah, if you've been into China in the last 2 weeks, we're not letting you in." I'm going, if you've been to China, you're already in your country. Sealing off the borders now does nothing. Does absolutely nothing. If they were really serious, they, again, not to beat a dead horse here, watch Contagion, which was done by, I think wasn't that a Soderbergh movie? It's about as realistic as it gets. And that was, not only did they seal off the ports and seal off, international travel, but, every state was like, they were on their own. Governors took control. It's like, yeah, we're sealing off the freaking border. nobody gets in, in or out, or if you leave, you're not coming back. For on a state by state basis, governors freak out and they call the CDC. It's like, what should the hell we do? But here's last thing. Sorry, I got to mention this, which is the thing you got to look for. Here's the big difference between even now and 30 years ago is social media, which is there's degrees of separation. We've always heard the 6 degrees of separation, also known as the 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, which I think is funny. Which is somebody that knows 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 Kevin Bacon, and it's absolutely true. I mean, I've seen it many times. You can't even go 4 degrees nowadays. But here's the deal with that, which is because of social media, we would have heard. Do like you and Karen here? Have you heard of anyone? Do you know anyone that knows anyone that has this thing? No, I don't either.
No, I was going to ask Karen because Karen, you got social media, Twitter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
yeah.
I peeked at mine this morning and it said that WHO in Thailand has cases now, and I said, okay, wait a minute, isn't Eric Dubé in Thailand?
Oh,
so I tagged him. I did the @ Eric Dubé.
He's probably already dead. Somebody start that rumor. Eric Dubé died of coronavirus. But
he might be listening right now. He could call in.
I haven't even seen on the news where somebody knows somebody that knows somebody that's on Twitter that has it or has died from it. It's statistically, it's pushing the limits of what social media should be reporting, and it's not. You're saying that, oh, wow, it's just a blind luck that we're not seeing any of these things. Like, no. Where are these people? Find somebody on YouTube that's on there saying, yeah, I have it. And, things start looking too good I had a family member that died, or I had a friend of a friend that died. We're just not seeing that yet. It's just numbers right now. They're just throwing out, oh, there's cases in Iran. There's cases in Taiwan. There's cases in Chile and South Korea. Really? Where? All you're showing me is numbers. You're not showing me anything. Show me a hospital bed. Show me somebody that talked to somebody that. Sorry, there's no sense of. And I'm getting all worked up again. I don't know what's wrong with me today. Which is there's no sense of urgency at all. It's just like, oh yeah.
Oh, I know.
It's here and it's there, and we should be ready for it. It's like, ready how exactly? All of a sudden, one day you're going to lock down the border of the United States.
I know. That's the thing. They see. Sorry.
They're treating it.
Just saying that the CDC says they don't have a cure yet for it. And like as a father, I got 3 children. One has autism. He has asthma, bad asthma, and no parent wants to see their kid go before them.
Yeah,
that's my thing. I'm not going to take it lightly.
Yeah, and Peanut Gallery is quick to point out here that we're averaging what 1.7 billion people flying a day. And that's just in a single day that are flying, and they're flying in all different directions. I'm sorry. You're going. Look, I'm going to criticize the people that are writing this garbage. For whoever's writing this, you're going against the movie rules on this one. And that is the public, you have no science, you have no documentary movies, you have no science fiction movies, you have no movies to reference, to anchor the public's consciousness to with this. You're doing this, you're just making this one up as you go along. And it's driving me nuts. It's like, because I have to see.
Oh yeah, and especially if it's affecting the stock market. If it is fake news, if it's all made up,
yeah,
but it's affecting our economy, people won't go to work. Someone is in some bad doo-doo.
Yeah.
If and when they're found out.
Oh, okay. I'll throw one more conspiracy out you, which is a very good friend of mine brought up to me recently, which was, is it possible that the coronavirus is going to be used to wipe out all the financial gains or perceived financial gains from the Trump administration in his first term in order to try to, and also weaken the world economy, create some chaos out there to make sure, to challenge the election? Because right now the whole election premise is, well, the economy's going great, so might as well reelect him. But if the economy wasn't going great, then his election status might be in jeopardy. How's that? Yeah.
That's a good one. And just to touch on one thing that Karen was speaking of, with like those death videos. Yeah. Okay, I was born in '88. Mark, when did Braveheart come out? 94 or 95?
I'm going to say 95. Why?
Okay, so I'd have been 7 years old. I watched that in the theaters.
Yeah.
We can get hardened to certain things, and it's not good, I guess.
No, it's not.
A 7-year-old to watch Braveheart, and Starship Troopers, that came out in '96. I would have been 8 years old.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody's different when it comes to death stuff like that.
That's true. All right, hey man, I gotta. Unfortunately, apparently I must be saying some good or bad things because the calls are piling up. I gotta let you go.
Right. All right. Let it get her.
Take care.
Hey man. All right, so let's jump over to 619. You're on with Mark and Karen. What are we talking about?
Mark, hey buddy, it's Russ DeBird.
Hey.
We haven't spoken in a while. But I was I actually drove up to Barstow from down here in San Diego to I was friends with Mike. Mike had a weekly radio show on my network, FER Live.
Got it.
And so I went up there.
So you were one of the last people to talk to him.
Yeah, I got the last interview.
Wow.
About probably 20 minutes before the event.
Any insight? Did he seem? Can we dispel the rumors that he was depressed or anything like that?
I would say that he was just like any other guy that was in that situation. He was very. It was very intense. He knew that his life was getting ready to go on the line.
Yeah.
So he was anxious.
Yeah.
But when I showed up, he and he saw me. He gave me a big smile. So, we connected there.
Yeah. Did you see? I noticed they had what was different from the other things that he's done in the past was they seemed to have professional recovery team guys in heavy dune buggy type deals to get out there fast if they needed to.
Yeah.
So,
I would say probably in my mind the biggest difference between this one and some previous ones is that before I've heard rumors and I'm still investigating this myself.
Yeah.
Is that before he was associated with a company that had a ground-based deployment for a backup parachute. And that but the company said you can use our technology, but you can't use our name because if you die, we don't want to be associated with that event, right?
Sure.
But you can use our technology as long as you change the name. And my understanding, and I'm still going over the details, but he used that technology the last time, one of the last jumps. Well, after his history of doing crazy things, and he appeared to be impervious to G-loads. He had never blacked out. And so it kind of gave him the confidence to say, I'll be okay.
Sure. Why not?
And so he did not choose against the wishes of the designer, the rocket scientist that he actually employed, Waldo. He went against his wishes in many, many different areas.
Got it.
And that was one of them.
All right.
And so that Mike was dependent upon himself to activate. So there was 4 parachutes on board. And what we saw immediately be dispersed was one of the exterior parachutes.
All right.
But there was 3 more. There were 3 more parachutes. But Mike did not deploy any of them. And so what we have to assume is that Mike was knocked unconscious right at the liftoff. Because they had radio communication with him. And so of course they were telling him, Mike, push the button, launch the parachute. But Mike didn't hear it. And so since he did not have the backup on the ground for us to push the button, right? Because there was a couple dozen people there that would have pushed the button if there would have been a ground-based activator, right?
Yeah.
But there was no such thing because for whatever reason. But one of the contributing factors is that Mike thought that he would be able to, handle the situation and be conscious when the rocket hit the apex. So,
all right.
So, anyway.
All right. Well, thank you for that, and hopefully we'll get more information as it goes along. Let's pick up one more call before the break. Let's grab 418. 418. You got 2 minutes or so before the break. What do you got?
Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Coronavirus.
Yeah.
Did you get my email about the stage event that is covering up the deadly effects of 5G?
Yeah, I did get that. Thank you.
So it's a big psychological operation. The virus is just a distraction. The CDC doesn't have a working test. Get that? So I suggest people start reading John Rappaport's blog, nomorefakenews.com, because how can they claim any case out there when they don't even have a working test? So we're being played, and it's covering up something else. So look into what was happening in Wuhan before this thing started, and there are strange coincidences. And there was lots of protests regarding air pollution over there. And so if you have pneumonia somewhere in Asia, you have coronavirus. So there's something wrong in this story. But I guess those who are working with the Alliance and Q know what's going on. So let's talk about solutions. Just peppermint oil. When you get something, scratching in your throat, you just use a few drops of peppermint oil and it's gone. So, it's time to drop the CDC and the World Health Organization for good. These people are criminals. Vaccines are an insult on humanity and child abuse. So let's go after these criminals. Thank you.
Great. All right. Hey, have a good one. Talk soon. All right, so with that, we are going to our final break. And when we come back, we'll take your calls. Into 803-360-616-510-845. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the Truth Frequency Radio Network.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
Welcome back to Strange World, Part 404. It's you, me, and Karen B. What up? So, we I have to mention, by the way, that I received a brand new model from Chris Pontius because he saw me on British television, and he said, "You're using the old model. You got to get you a new model." So, true to his word, he sent me a small 9-inch version. It's completely electronic. It's very cool, and so I'm going to be packing that in my suitcase when I go around, and we'll have it with me for people to see. And if you guys want to check out his stuff, Chris makes some absolutely fabulous models. It is at flatearthmodels.com. Okay.
The models are awesome.
Yeah, he makes some beautiful, beautiful things. And talk about it. I mean, it is really, I've got one of his first ones, and he has evolved his craft so much in the last 4 years. It's been just amazing. Okay, we're talking about Mad Mike, the rise and fall. We're talking about I keep wanting to say controvirus, the coronavirus. We're talking about the stock market crash, whatever you want to talk about. But let's get right to it because I don't know if we're going to get all the calls for the rest of the show. We're going to try. Let's grab, because this guy's been on hold for 47 minutes. Let's try it again. How about 803? 803, you got something to say? Because I want to hear it.
Hello, Mark and Karen. This is Trucker Gerald. How y'all doing? I met y'all at Flattoberfest last year, and I hadn't called in a long time. So the reason I'm calling is there was a live news broadcast about NASA launching a giant mirror into space back in 1992, I think it was. And I'm calling. I can't find that video anywhere. So if anybody finds it, man, we need to make that video go viral because it proves that NASA is full of crap. And why haven't they ever used that damn mirror? I mean, they spent like $50 million on that mirror. I don't know if you remember the broadcast, but it was on the live news way back in 1990s, early 1990s. That video needs to go viral.
All right. I will look for it. Giant mirror. I'll have Peanut Gallery start hunting for it right now.
Yeah, they launched that giant mirror they said it could light up a whole city, and all. I watched it live. I mean, me and you were about the same age, and I met you at Flattoberfest, and I can't find that video anywhere, and it needs to go viral. I mean, that proves that NASA's full of crap, and it just burns me up, all this crap they're getting away with.
I hear you. Cool. Anything else?
I think that'll do it. Yep, that's why I was calling.
All right. Well, hey, thank you for the tip, and I will look into it. So you have a good night, okay?
All right. Y'all take care.
Okay.
Take care.
All right. Let's jump over to 360. 360, local boy. What's happening up there in Seattle?
Hey, what's happening from the other end of the island?
Not much, man. What's on your mind this evening?
Terrible weather until now, finally getting better.
Oh, that's good.
Yes. Well, I wanted to say a couple things about. Hi, Karen B. Hi, Mark. How are you guys?
Hey.
Hey, getting to the point. So, shills, probably an overused term, right? So,
yeah.
I think what you're saying, Mark, you're saying that this guy was not a shill. He's just a guy who was uneducated, kind of about the flat Earth, but was willing to use the sponsorship, right? Mad Mike.
Yeah. Mike was more. He was more concerned in the money and the girls and the fame. That's his top three things, and he was not shy about talking about it when he did his Tosh.0 interview. You got to remember that they talked to him for a while, and the part they did leave in him. I mean, come on. We want you. No, we're not going to talk about. He doesn't want to talk about flat Earth. He wants to talk about how, for fun, he would use a Sharpie and sign his name on the girl's back when they were sleeping, so they wouldn't know about it until someone told them days later. Or go pick somebody up at the bar and then and have sex with them early enough so he could go back to the bar and pick up somebody else before the bar closed. Yeah, that's classy.
Well, I was fortunate not to hear any of those interviews.
It was awful.
Yeah,
seriously.
But I get your point.
Yeah, he was not loved. And I'm not saying he might have had some great traits, but I never saw him, and I never heard anyone say anything. No one has come to his defense as of yet. So I'm not backing off of this.
Yeah. Well, let me say, may he rest in peace. I don't wish ill on anyone, but yeah, I don't think he was part of our movement.
No, I mean, he generated a lot of media, and again, I'm going to stand by. I know people are going to say, "Oh, it's a terrible quote." No, best $8,000 we ever spent. Period. It just was. Generated huge amounts of headlines, and I said that 2 years ago, and it has not changed.
Much better than a Super Bowl commercial for 1 minute that cost $2 million.
Oh yeah, and we got that too. We got that for free. So far 2020 has not disappointed. Seriously, I mean, look at all the stuff. We're not even out of February yet. We got the Super Bowl commercial. We got Jimmy Kimmel. Got the British interview. Got Mad Mike.
Yeah.
Again, you can say what you want, but every media piece. A friend of mine sent it to me. It was like the lead story on Market Watch. That's a stock watch. That's a financial channel, and it was the lead thing on that.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know. By the way, that same friend also.
Yeah. By the way, shout out to. Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Finish.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was thinking about Britain, but shout out to Douglas Falk that was a great phone call last week, and I'm glad that you guys connected and discussed that about the British interview you had.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say that that same friend wanted to point out. She's like a different version of Peanut Gallery, honestly, giving Peanut a run for his money. That the coronavirus was first talked about the third week of December. So that's how far back it goes. And it's like, come on, guys. Even if you don't know much about viruses, if this thing was out and about in December, the end of, around Christmas time of 2019, it'd be everywhere. Everybody would be either been affected by it in some way. Sorry, I'm getting all worked up again. Anything else?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm not going to opine on that. I mean, I my zip code.
I do.
By the way, I think the Peanut Gallery knows my zip code, and I met him in Dallas. I am not connected at all to the military. I'm not a contractor. I have a secret clearance from when I was 30 years younger than I am now, but I never have worked for them since.
Oh.
And I just want to say, yes, I did hear, some things about the coronavirus to take it seriously.
Yeah.
But I'm not, I don't have an opinion either way. I'm kind of like you, Mark. It seems like it's always been used like the Tabby stock group to spread fear. They mentioned it in the 1930s. It's quoted that they said epidemics will be one of the best ways to spread fear and make the population freeze.
Oh yeah,
So
you can.
I don't want to say it.
You can absolutely incapacitate a population just by saying, "Oh yeah, there's something in the air," because people will misdiagnose stuff all the time. I mean, the first time anyone coughs, it's like, "Oh boy." So, all right.
That's right.
Any shout outs?
Yeah.
Because
I know you got to take more calls.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Move on. Yes.
All right, man. We'll talk soon. Talk later. All right, Let's jump over to. We still got time. You know what? Let's cut to the chase here. Let's grab 845, and then I'll jump back to Michigan and California and stuff like that. 845. Ready? Here we go. Start spreading the news. I'm leaving today. Although I'm pretty feisty today. I want to be a part of it. Slap me and call me Heather.
New York. Yes, definitely. You are feisty today. Wow.
I am.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? It is what it is. Whatever. I feel bad that a person died, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, you got a chance to see Mike in Denver.
Yeah. I met him. He's whatever. Like I said, I don't even care. I was just. Oh, go ahead.
But I mean, just make some allies. Come on. I mean, Flat Earth is about community. That's the big thing of Flat Earth. We relate on a common ground, and we talk about stuff all the time. And he was the opposite of that. He was like, okay, Flat Earth apparently has given me is a vehicle that I can use to do things, and he did. He did more with Flat Earth than he ever did in his previous life, in 60 years prior. He surpassed that. He got mainstream Tosh.0, a documentary of his own, and a television show all in the span of a year. It's like, how great was that? And he got free money out of the deal, and we gave him $8,000. So yeah, he was at that point. He's like, yeah, I don't need you guys. In fact, you should be crowning me the king of all that is Flat Earth. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
I got a question. What's wrong with bringing whiskey to the playground?
Well, nothing really.
I didn't see what was wrong.
I know. I was going to say.
Just keep it in a flask in your pocket. It's fine.
Yeah. And that's terrible that you wanted to spread that rumor. That's funny. Did he die from coronavirus?
Who, Eric Dubay? No, I am 90% sure I saw a photo of him with his eyes closed on some weird little obscure news thing that came out of Thailand. So yes, I'm pretty sure that Eric Dubay was taken by the virus.
Crazy. No, it's coronavirus with Lyme disease.
Eric has to make a proof of life video and post it somewhere.
Yeah.
With a date on it.
Yeah, I'm alive.
Whatever. Sorry, funny. Eric.
I love it. No, it's true. It's so freaking frustrating. The fear porn is just so in your fucking face everywhere.
Well, again, it's doubly bad. It's doubly bad though if they're linking this to the stock market. I mean, they're basically saying right now, as long as the coronavirus is out, as long as it's spreading, the market's going to go down. I mean, they almost announced that today. It's like, well, if that's the case, we're in real trouble because apparently it's they haven't even warmed up. They're saying, and it's going to break in America. So what happens when it breaks in America? Does all of a sudden the stock market, and it's an election year? It's 2020. I predicted this last year. I said 2020 is going to get super strange. I don't know what
everything. It is. Coca-Cola is going to have a problem because they can't get sweetener for their Zero and Diet Coke from China. I read somewhere some guy in Miami came back. He got sick and he had to pay because they didn't cover everything related to coronavirus.
Wow.
But give me a fucking break.
Wow.
It's just so ridiculous. So ridiculous.
I agree.
All right, man. And I know you got a couple minutes.
Do you?
I was just going to say I saw another two more things.
Yeah.
They said there was a heat wave in Antarctica that melted
I saw that.
The ice on some islands 20% in 9 days. Ooh. And Saturday, me and Brian talked about all these percentages and how they're manipulated in stats. It was interesting.
Yeah.
Which leads me into, I want to plug this Saturday.
Please
10,
do.
We'll actually start on time. Crow 777 is going to come on Night School. And I'm so ecstatic. I can't wait to meet him and talk to him. I think talked to him, said hello once or twice, like on some panels here and there. But never really got to talk to him, one-on-one. And I think that's going to be awesome. Should be
sweet,
fun.
Zulu. Nice.
Shout out to Dottie's World. Love everybody. Yeah, I think it's going to be real
fun.
Good.
Crow's always a good show.
Yeah, he's the man. And I mean, honestly, I don't even care if anybody listens. I want to talk to him. It's like, that's what I'm saying. I'm so excited.
When is it? This Saturday?
It was, Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
All right.
Cool.
Cool in the gang, man.
Be good. Be good.
All right.
All righty.
Hey.
All right. All right. I'll save my quote. Bye.
Okay.
Love you guys.
See you, man.
Bye.
All right.
Love you, Zulu.
Let's go to another regular 510. You're on with you and me and Karen B. What?
Aaron, Mark, what's going on with it?
Gotta talk louder.
Is that better? Still
Yeah.
can't hear me?
Yep, that's better.
Yep.
1, 2.
Better.
All right, how y'all doing?
Excellent. How are you?
Good. All right. Man, this night, typically these nights are pretty short, but we had a log jam up out here in the traffic, so kind of got me getting home a little bit later. But other than that, I'm good. You know, other things could be better, but hey, who's listening? So.
Well, apparently a lot of people tonight.
Yeah, apparently. So I just got. I sat on because I wasn't really going to call in, but so we're charging for memorial services now.
Oh, good point. Well, for VIP seating, yeah, it's Los Angeles as well. You're talking a lot of VIPs. The VIP section was very expensive. So, yeah, they were charging big money to be in that.
Yeah, okay.
Ridiculous.
That's kind of okay. Yeah, we're charging. Anyway, so well, some who don't know, me, I'm a ball player myself. Obviously not on a professional level or nothing, but I follow the league. But wow, that's crazy. So, question: how fast does a rocket go? The rockets that allegedly shoots people off into space. How fast do those go?
Their best speed is pushing 18,000 miles an hour, but when they're, before they supposedly hit escape velocity, they're pushing a couple thousand miles an hour at the very least. Why?
I found that kind of interesting what the caller was talking about the potential blackout that potentially took place in his craft.
Yeah,
that's kind of.
No, that's a little different because Mad Mike's rocket the acceleration rate was really, really fast, like a ninja bike. But when you're talking about a big rocket, you're taking off the launch pad really, really slow. I mean, it's like an 18-wheeler getting up to speed.
Okay.
So no, they don't have to worry about the yeah.
Okay.
Different
All right.
sort of thing.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate that clarification.
Yeah.
I thought that was quite interesting. But yeah, I mean, if what he said is accurate account, well, there it is.
Yeah.
You don't want nobody pushing the button. So hey, there it is. I'm gonna let that be that.
Okay.
To the whole flat earth community out there, man, keep it flat, man. Love y'all. Shout out to my big brother Mark and everybody else out there. And what up, Patricia? Yeah. All right, peace.
Okay, see you, man.
Good night.
Bye-bye. All right, let's jump over. We're going to do speed round here. 803, did I already pick you up? 803.
Hello.
Oh, you there?
Hey, I was just listening. This is Trucker Gerald again.
Oh, yeah, no, I already picked you up. Go away. All right, let's pick up 760. I'm trying to get through all these. We only got 7 minutes left in the show. Actually, 6 minutes. Let's do 760. 760, I'll give you 3 minutes. What do you got?
Hey, Karen. Hey there, Mark. Hey, guys.
Hey.
As it relates to FE, what fascinates you the most about the unknowns? What gets your imagination going the most still?
You mean the unknowns about FE?
Yes.
Oh, got to be the optics. So the sun for me, the sun, especially in the Antarctic, that's the big one for me, because I'm still trying to figure it out. It's like it's got to be multiple light sources.
Yeah, the sun.
Yeah.
The luminaries.
Yep. The stuff we can't get to. The stuff on the ground, I think we pretty much nailed down. The stuff up in the sky, though, that's tough. I mean, it's like describing. How do you describe an HD television to somebody from 40 years ago? How do you begin to describe it? How it works?
For me, if I can answer that question, I'm so fascinated by what's been captured with the long range cameras of the stars. I'm absolutely, what the heck?
Yeah.
It's cymatic. I mean, what do you guys think what's really going on with the stars, you guys?
Karen, you want to take a shot or me?
Your guess is as good as mine, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. It's. I mean, I think we're looking at a display system. It's no different than zooming in on a television screen that's, we have 8K monitors now, let's say 1,000,000K. But we're looking also through atmosphere, and it's trying to be interpreted by digital technology, and it's blurring it out. And I know it kind of makes it look like it's underwater, and maybe it is. Maybe it's not, but when you look through enough atmosphere, you also are looking through a thin version of water. So that's, other people have suggested, they're living entities. Are they alive? Don't know. I don't know. All I can tell you is they're not what they describe. The mainstream describes it as.
If they're not, Karen, what do you think?
Well, I mean, the only thing that I'm pretty sure about as far as this realm goes is that it is electrically powered or driven in nature. So there must be some sort of link between that, an electromagnetic phenomenon, between that and the luminaries, what we see. I mean, that's the best I can think of so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you slow down, really slow mode, what seems to be cymatics of the stars, I swear, you guys, I see faces. 100%.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, you guys should really slow that stuff. Okay, the other thing for me is I just can't stop thinking about the other land possibility.
Oh, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, that's another interesting thing.
A movie needs to be made about that. Seriously.
Oh, I agree. I mean, come on, the South Pacific, even if you believe in the globe, is so huge. You could hide an entire continent out there and keep people from finding it. Absolutely, you could do it. So is there other land?
I mean, we could.
What?
We could very well be the intersector.
Yeah, might be. Again, like it. All right, man, I hate to do this to you.
Okay,
unfortunately, we got to call this one short because the show is running down. I only got 3 minutes left, and I want to get this last call in. So thank you very much. And the last call of the evening is going to be 425. 425. I'm so glad you called in because you know what? No,
way.
How's it going, man?
Is this me? It's going great, Mark. Hi, Karen.
Hi, Ted.
For those of you who don't know, this is Ted, Karen's new beefcake, otherwise known as Beardly McRipped Rib Dabs.
Rib Dabs.
Rib Dabs. Ripped abs. The point is,
Greater 2000.
Get that man some duct tape because he is ripped. Ooh. So what do you got? You got 2 minutes till the show shuts down. What do you got?
I know. Okay, so we'll go with Mad Mike. I'll just start off by saying, he was just in it for the money. He didn't care about who was promoting him as long as he got his attention, got his money, and off he went. It's like eventually he would die because he's in a homemade steam-powered rocket going 1,000 feet. I mean, if he really wanted to prove flat Earth, he could have gotten on a plane with a P900 with infrared for a lot less than probably what he built that rocket for.
Yep.
Not to make, I'm not trying to put the guy down. Guy died. I'm sorry for his family, friends, and like that. But he was kind of a pain in the butt.
Yep.
Coronavirus. We'll go. I'm pretty damn certain it's a big friggin', SARS, swine flu, whatever, H1N1, BS garbage, just to get people in super magic panic mode because they weren't able to impeach Trump. So they're just going to keep on promoting this, get people scared, drop the stock markets. Either people are going to wake up to the fact that it's a hoax, or they'll just do something else and, like you said, tank the stock markets, and people will be really screwed over. And until they find another new thing to get people all razzled up and scared in the usual fear porn world.
Right. Yep.
A new boogeyman. They're running out of them. They're either killing them off or reprising them again. At least it's not like Al Qaeda where they killed like the second lead guy 12 times or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So.
All right. Groovy.
Let's see. Other than that, yeah.
All right. You gotta let you go.
Pretty sure
Unfortunately, you guys can talk all sexy to each other later because I gotta wind down the show. So thank you. And sorry, I had to cut him off because there's no time.
I hear
so you. Thank you for everybody that called in. Remember, we'll be back next week probably, unless something really weird happens. Same flat time, same flat channel. Karen, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
See, I screwed you up there, didn't I? Say goodbye, Karen.
Goodbye, Karen.
Oh,
that was fun.
I know, right?
You ruined it.
All right.
Rest in peace, Mad Mike.
Yep. Or rest in pieces, one of the two. Hey, you know what?
That's the flattest.
Hot sex.
Hot sex.